This line opened Pittsburgh -1.5. There were a couple of pick'ems out there. Total sitting at 36. I'm seeing right now the Steelers are already up to 2 at a handful of books. There is a prominent 3 out there. There are also still 1.5s out there as well. I'm expecting more Steelers money. Why? Well, Dave Canales has already told us he's not playing starters this week. All right. Even though the starters were rough, and that means a lot of Jack Plummer, I should say. And of course, Carolina was not good. You know, they weren't good in week 1. They weren't good in week 2. Canales now 1-4 straight up, 0-5 against the spread as a head coach in August. And of course, you know, his quote after they got, you know, they were 1-10 on third downs, 3.6 yards per play, 164 total yards. Bryce Young couldn't get anything going. Andy Dalton couldn't get anything going. And he basically said, I ain't playing starters. Quote, you know, he said he wouldn't play starters in his final preseason game. Quote, a lot of good work out there. To me, to sum it up, it was a day of almost. I just kind of challenged the group like, are we going to be almost good? Are we going to make the plays when they're there to be made? So Canales is always upbeat. Doesn't look like he's playing starters. Meanwhile, the Steelers, they lost to Tampa Bay. You know, the offense looked really sluggish. The defense didn't have starters. It was Mason Rudolph, then Skylar Thompson, then Logan Woodside. All 3 quarterbacks had an interception. Thompson took 3 sacks. But Pittsburgh's defense controlled the flow of that game. They'll give up 1.7 yards per carry. And Tomlin's a head coach who seems to care about these games more than most. Steelers went 17-4 straight up between 2017 and 2023 in the preseason. 0-3 last year, 1-1 this year after the loss to Tampa. It feels like there's a little bit more interest for Pittsburgh. I think we'll see some Steelers starters, and Tomlin cares about winning in August more than Canales does. Hence, my encouragement, if you like Pittsburgh, bet them sooner rather than later. Right now, you can find -1.5 for the Steelers. I do not think that will be available by later today, and certainly not by later this week.
EBA, emergency betting alert, right out the gate. You love to see it. That's how we start on Monday morning.
I expect the over money here. We're seeing stuff as high as 39.5 right now. And again, since he plays tonight, so from an emergency betting alert standpoint, I don't think we're going to see this line go crazy today. We could, but I doubt it because the Bengals haven't played yet. But we've certainly seen enough indicators from Cincy that they're A, interested in scoring points, B, that the offense works. And as for Indy, again, we're expecting to see a resolution of the quarterback situation this week, whether it's Anthony Richardson, whether it's Danny Jones. And look, the insiders are saying they expect Richardson to win the job because Jones hasn't won it. You know, obviously they brought in Jones for competition, but Richardson's their guy. Richardson's the guy they expected. Then from an upside standpoint, he probably got a little bit more than Daniel Jones. So I would be surprised if Jones wins this job. That could mean that Jones sees the entirety or much of the game this week against Indy. But again, there are 38.5s out there right now. Several of them are juiced to the over. I would not be shocked at all to see over money for Cincy Indy in a matchup where you're talking about quarterback rotations that make sense. And of course, you know, Steichen played a lot of his starters into the second quarter this past week. I'm not convinced we're going to see. I don't know what Indy's going to do this time around, but Riley Leonard, Jason Bean are a couple of guys that could end up getting a lot of playing time. And if it is that duo, my emergency betting alert is garbage. and we're not going to see the move towards the over like I expect.
Yeah, and again, just to clarify, as far as the emergency betting alerts work, this is get on the right side of the market. This is the way that Teddy sees the market going. Doesn't mean, hey, pull the rubber band off and this is the side that you should bet. That's something that you'll kind of learn that Teddy will talk about as we go through the year.
Yeah, so these are not my official bets. These are not the stuff I'm giving out to my clients. It's the stuff where I see the markets moving or likely to move. And if you want, and it's not, and the emergency betting alert, only if you like the over. If you don't want to bet the over, don't worry about it. If you want the under, you wait. You know,
yep.
From a side standpoint, I talked earlier in the show with an EBA about Pittsburgh, who, by the way, I'm seeing threes now popping up. and a whole bunch of books.
Come on.
That's what we try to do. I want to get you guys ahead of it. This opened 3 and 37.5. We've already seen Browns money 3.5 minus 20. There are 4s out there. There are 4.5s popping out there. I expect we'll see more Cleveland money than what we just saw, than what we've already seen. It's very much a circumstance for. Now I've lost my notes. Where am I at? Cleveland Browns. There we go. All right. So first of all, the Rams don't give a crap. All right. McVay does not care. Last week, plus 2.5 to plus 8.5. Money poured in against them. No head coach in the NFL cares less about August wins than Sean McVay. That being said, the Rams are now 4-1 straight up, 5-0 against the spread in August the last 2 years. It was all Stetson Bennett last week. I'm expecting to see lots of Stetson Bennett again. This week, we're going to get an update on Matthew Stafford today. I would not expect Stafford to move. The offense was just fine with a third-string quarterback, 26 first downs, 458 total yards, 6.0 yards per play. They did allow a punt return touchdown. That said, it was kind of a lucky win against the Chargers. Bennett threw a red zone pick, then a 3-and-out, and then he hit a 40-yard completion in the final seconds to set up the game-winning field goal. The market's not enamored with the Rams. For the Browns, and again, we're hearing the quotes from Stefanski that he wants to name a starter. They're not there yet, whether it's Tyler Huntley or Dylan Gabriel or whether we're going to see Sanders or Flacco. We don't know yet. Nonetheless, there's quarterback competition and there's a decent quarterback rotation and there's urgency. And 2 straight weeks for Cleveland. That defense has really been the best unit on the field. They shut down Carolina last week and shut down Philly over the weekend. So the Browns, again, we've already seen them take some money. Would not be surprised if they take more money between now and kickoff. Tampa opened 1.5, 37.5. I'm seeing 1.5s out there still. I'm also seeing pick'ems right now. We've seen some of the leading indicator books move towards Buffalo after that dismal showing against Chicago yesterday. If you like the Bills, I would not. I would find a 1.5 right now and grab it because I'm not convinced it's going to be there all that much longer. Both DK and FanDuel have that number available as we speak, but it's pretty clear we're going to see some Buffalo money. Now, Trubisky wasn't good yesterday. Mark White wasn't good yesterday. Josh Allen hasn't played in either of the preseason games. It's worth noting Allen's thrown at least 3 passes in every preseason since he came in the league in 2018. The market's saying we could see a little bit of Josh Allen, at least a cup of coffee with him this week. So with the Bills off a complete no-show, the Bills off a dismal game, the Bills with a veteran QB rotation, the Bills potentially playing Allen this week. That's why we're seeing money for Buffalo right now. As for Tampa, they got the win against Pittsburgh. Kyle Trask wasn't good as a second stringer, only 3 pass completions at 4 first-half drives, 0 points. Connor Bazelak's not necessarily a bet on QB in the second half. They had a muff punt set up the Steelers tying touchdown, but they couldn't run at all against Pittsburgh's defense. And that's certainly a concern here against a Buffalo defense that's far better than what we saw yesterday against Chicago.
Man, 4 emergency betting alerts. I cannot wait for the regular season to be here, but this is scratching the itch, Teddy. I will tell you, and it's a fun time. Go ahead.
Well, I would expect fewer emergency betting alerts than regular season. We see early on. You might see a couple. Week 2, week 3, we'll see a handful. Week 1, we're not going to see any. I'll tell you that right now because the markets are already.
They've been out. They've been out for how damn long.